Hey guys, Coach Alex Gonzalez from Maximize Potential coming at y'all with a great Mobility Monday. It's the first of the month, which means that we're starting a new program. This month is GROWVEMBER and we're focusing primarily on hypertrophy. Now, if we haven't heard that word before, I actually did a video last week explaining exactly what hypertrophy is, why we're doing it, and what kind of benefits we're gonna see. Today, I'm gonna be talking about the small lifestyle changes that we need to make in order to get ready for this type of training. But before we get into that, if you haven't noticed, new fall wear is in. I'm really loving the new sweatshirts. We've got sweaters, we've got sweatpants, we got beanies, we got a couple different variations. Keep warm and stay in style. Right now, we have a 20% off on a lot of these products, so get some while you can. I'm gonna leave a link down in the comments below. Today, I'm giving y'all the best recovery tips that we can take in order to get ready for this hypertrophy program. So let's jump right into it. So absolutely number one, the thing that we need to figure out for ourselves is going to be our nutrition. Now obviously when I say nutrition, the first thing that we think is going to be food, but we also need to make sure that we're drinking enough water. Just because a hot season is coming to an end doesn't mean that we're going to let up on the amount of water that we're taking in. Water plays a key role in performance when we're coming in here in the gym, so making sure that we drink enough is going to ensure that we have minimal chance of having cramps during or even after we have our workouts. I highly recommend taking your body weight, half it, and then drinking that amount in fluid ounces. So for example, I'm about 200 pounds, I'm gonna half my weight. I should be drinking around 100 fluid ounces of water a day. Now I like to be a little bit extra, so I might just go the full gallon, 128 fluid ounces. A little bit of extra water never hurt anybody. Staying on the topic of nutrition, we gotta make sure that we're eating enough. Now if we didn't watch last week's video, we may not be super familiar with the word hypertrophy. So just to kind of condense things, hypertrophy training is a type of training that prioritizes increasing strength and lean mass density. Now when I say lean mass density, I really mean muscle mass. I don't always like to use the word muscle mass because a lot of the time we get this preconceived image of like Arnold or like these big old ballooned out bodybuilder guys. Now a couple of different things. One, most of us don't have the genetics for that. Two, we're not on steroids. Three, most of us aren't eating 5,000-6,000 calories a day. So don't worry, you're not gonna get super bulky. As I mentioned in the last video, increasing our muscle mass actually helps us look a little bit better and more aesthetically pleasing. This is a perfect segue into the calorie portion. Here we have to be eating enough calories. If what we're looking to do is increase our muscle mass, we should be trying to eat at a calorie surplus. So if we take a look at our BMR being basal metabolic rate, we should want to try and increase this by about 200 to 300 calories. Now remember, this is not taking into account the amount of activity that we're doing in a day. So if we're burning 500-600 calories during a workout, we actually may want to add about 800 to 1,000 calories to our BMR. These extra calories are very much needed. As I've spoken before, calories equals energy. And with a more intense type of training program like this, we need the amount of energy in order to go through the entirety of the workout. So what kind of nutrition are we looking at here? Well, I want to make sure that we're getting enough protein. One of the main guidelines that I like to see is a 1-to-1 ratio of protein to body weight. So I mean this as in 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. Now I understand sometimes it could be a little challenging getting this amount of protein, but this is where proper supplementation is going to come in. So things like protein powders or protein bars are really going to help. That being said, whole foods are going to be your best way to go when it comes to overall health and wellness. So eating good lean meats like chicken, turkey, fish, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, tofu and black beans, lentils are also great alternatives. Our carbohydrates also have to increase. Now I'm going to say we're looking for a ratio of about 1.5 grams of carbs per 1 pound of body weight. Now I know most of us like carbs, so this shouldn't be too hard to hit. Remember, we still want to kind of stay away from those more refined carbohydrates, so looking for more complex carbs like quinoa, brown rice. This is our main energy source, so making sure that we get enough of it is going to be absolutely imperative. Great. Now tip number 2 for our recovery during this hypertrophy training is going to be small lifestyle changes. I want you to take a step back and think about how much stress you have in your life. Now regardless of if we're talking about training or not, stress is going to be one of the biggest killers around the world. So we really want to try and limit stress. When we stress, we release a hormone called cortisol. Now cortisol is one of the largest causes for slow or lack of gains. It suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and growth processes. This increases our risk of anxiety, headaches, muscle tension, and even weight gain, which I'm sure is the last thing that we're looking for. Another lifestyle tip, and I know we may not want to hear it during the holiday season, but moderate your alcohol consumption. Now alcohol is a diuretic and will dehydrate us, so this will very negatively impact the recovery process. Tip number 3, make sure that we're getting enough sleep. It's plain and simple. I don't have to get into too much detail here. A majority of the recovery process happens while we're asleep. I highly recommend that we have at least 7 to 8 hours of good sleep each night. So we've hit a couple of really good things that I want us to do, but I want to talk about one specific thing that I don't really want us to do. Now, this is a little bit of a controversial topic, but I do have a little bit of an issue with using ice and heat. Now, absolutely, ice and heat can be very good for performance, but remember, there's a very big difference between performance and training. For my athletes out there, during performance, we're kind of already at our training peak. We do train throughout our season, but it's more so to maintain. Ice suppresses inflammation, which is a very important part of the healing process that we need in order for our muscles to grow. Now, I understand that ice might make us feel good, but it's not going to allow for the most efficient muscle gains. We don't want to prioritize speeding up recovery so this way we can go train hard again. That's not the point of this. This is why we have good rest periods in between our sets. Recovery and rest is going to be the most important part of this program. Using ice and heat repeatedly will incrementally lessen the amount of muscle mass that we are able to gain over a given portion of time. And reiterating again, this gives us a false sense of recovery. Ice or heat can give us an analgesic effect that makes us feel like we may be fully recovered when really we're not. Now, all this being said, I don't mind ice or heat used in a limited use, but it's not going to be great for us if we use it chronically. Anyway, y'all, that's about all I got for y'all today. I hope we learned something new. Like I said earlier, the new fall collection just dropped, so go ahead and grab some gear. But don't forget, this is always a conversation, y'all, so don't forget to leave a like, comment down below something that you learned, any questions that you may have, or suggestions for future content that you want to see. But other than that, I'm Coach Alex. Y'all be good, drink some water, and I'll see y'all in the next one.